Hey guys, what is up? It is the Fast Break Report here, bringing you guys another vlog. I'm going to try to do this video without, wincing, because my medical condition is acting up really bad and my stomach hurts really bad. I've debated going to the hospital, but I've taken my medication. I'm taking anti-inflammatories and stuff, so we'll see how this goes. But I want to talk about the Pacers. I'm not going to go too crazy in this video. I know I said, my next video about Miles Turner was going to be crazy. And he's going to get some criticism in this video. I don't think he is not out of the realm of criticism in this video. But the Pacers have a 31-38 record after last night. And it's pretty obvious that they're tanking. Tyrese Halliburton didn't play. Ben Mathurin didn't play. Miles Turner didn't play. TJ McConnell didn't play. They sat out all their best guys against Detroit of all teams. I'm like, yeah, you know what? They're mailing it in. And some fans are not happy about it, but I mean, in their last 13 games they have remaining in the season, at least 7 of them are against top playoff teams. They have 2 games against Milwaukee, 1 against the Celtics, 1 against the Cavaliers, another 2 against the Knicks. I think they play the Mavericks 1 time. Their record is 31-38. It does not pay for them to try and salvage this season at this point with 13 games remaining. And there's a lot of fans who are not happy about that, but the fact of the matter is, man, at this point the Pacers are playing for a draft pick. And they did I want to say they did outperform expectations this year. They started off the season very hot, but at the All-Star break, Tyrese Halliburton ended up getting injured, and that kind of, derailed the season in a way. It's crazy how just one injury can, kind of fuck up the entire season. But the fact of the matter is Tyrese Halliburton is what makes this team go. You know what I'm saying? If Tyrese Halliburton doesn't play, they're probably, one of the worst teams in the NBA. They wouldn't be playing for a top 10 spot right now in the draft. They'd be playing for a top 3 pick or a top 5 pick. And in some instances, who knows? Maybe that would have been better. But I just the idea we're playing for a draft pick at this point. And there's a lot of there's just a lot to point your finger at here, specifically with this season. At times, Rick Carlisle did run lineups that I was just kind of what in the actual fuck are you doing? And I get it. He's trying to make his personnel work, but, there was times where it was he played TJ McConnell, where I was okay, TJ McConnell should not probably not be playing here. There were times where, he had Isaiah Jackson in the game where I thought Isaiah Jackson shouldn't be there. The problem with the Pacers is they have a lot of issues. Now, how long it's going to take to shore up some of those issues, I don't know. My biggest gripe with this team comes from 2 players, Jalen Smith and Miles Turner. Mostly because Miles did play better this year. I will say that. Miles had a better season this year. But every fucking time this guy plays against somebody that's good, whether it's Joel Embiid, whether it's Nikola Vucevic, DeAndre Ayton, fucking Steven Adams, for all people, he just looks intimidated. I don't know what it is, but against Joel Embiid the other night, I don't expect Miles Turner to contain Joel Embiid. Nobody can fucking do it. You know what I'm saying? It's really about, damage control. When you're playing against guys like Nikola Vucevic, and Joel Embiid. That's all you're doing is damage control. But this motherfucker got 6 fouls in the course of, 17 minutes. Okay? And not for nothing, but, there was plays that he was reaching in on Joel Embiid on and stuff like that. And I'm bro, do you even look at the fucking scouting report? Joel Embiid shoots more free throws than any center in the fucking league. He averages, I think, 11 or 12 free throws a game, and you're reaching on him. I'm sorry, it's just, for me, Miles Turner, unless he finds a way to be more assertive, play smarter, I just, every time he plays against one of these guys in the league that is a true center, he gets fucking bodied. I think I made a post the other day on Facebook true Indiana Pacers fans, I put down a list of like 11 or 12 centers that have consistently outplayed Miles Turner throughout his career. And like some of the guys on the list are guys that don't even play in the fucking league. Like Andre Drummond barely plays anymore. Dwight Howard doesn't play anymore. Tristan Thompson doesn't play anymore. Like these are all guys that consistently outplayed Miles Turner. Clint Capella consistently outplays him. Nikola Vucevic consistently outplays him. DeAndre Ayton, Steven Adams, Bam Adebayo, Jonas Valanciunas. Okay, like the list goes on and on and on of guys that outperform Miles Turner. And as a Pacers fan, I have to ask myself, right, is Miles Turner really the center that's going to be able to guarantee us a deep playoff run? You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, Miles might be enough to get us past the first round, but you get into the second round and you got to play against guys like Nikola Vucevic of maybe the Bulls. He's probably going to a different team. I'm not sure, but like you start playing, Bam Adebayo is there, Joel Embiid is there, okay? Even Brook Lopez is like in Defensive Player of the Year ratings this year, but like I got to think to myself, like, Are you capable of that? And right now, I'm just not sold on it. I am not sold on the idea that Miles Turner can contain anybody who's a true center in the NBA. If you ask me, Miles Turner is a stretch four. Okay? Like, I would have no problem with Miles Turner just sitting on the fucking three-point line, shooting threes like he's Kristaps Porzingis, and finding somebody who's a true center to play the fucking center position. Because that now we're going to get into Jalen Smith, but Jalen Smith has not been the player that we thought he would be. They didn't sign him to a very big contract. They gave him the ability to start at the beginning of the year. Starting didn't work, so then they started bringing him off the bench. And Jalen Smith, if you guys remember, was a guy that I was incredibly high on. And he was a guy that last year when I saw him play, I'm like, he's got the potential to be really fucking good. And this year, he just fell off a cliff. I don't know what happened, but like this year, his shooting numbers, like especially his shooting from three numbers, just fell off a cliff. So I'm not sure if it's just a down year, but he was not good this year. Chris Duarte was not good this year. Like, there was a lot of guys on our roster who just underperformed. Two guys I will say that I'm pleased with this year are definitely Ben Mathurin. Buddy Hield has been nice, you know what I'm saying? Like, Buddy Hield would be a nice guy to bring back on like a smaller deal, and I almost think he's going to come back. I feel like there's a reason they didn't trade Buddy Hield or Miles Turner at the trade deadline, and I part of it is I think they both want to be here in Indy, but Buddy is one of those guys that I think is going to come back on maybe a lesser deal, even though I don't know if he's going to be back. That's the problem with it. Buddy Hield is one of those guys that it's like, I think he wants to be in Indiana. I think he wants to play with Tyrese Halliburton, but somebody's going to offer him the fucking bag. I don't know who, but being the idea that he is like, I think the best three-point shooter in the league this year, or one of the best three-point shooters in the league this year, I have a feeling someone's going to offer him like a max contract in the area of like 4 years, $80 million or something like that, and the Pacers might not be willing to match that. And honestly, Buddy Hield defensively is not a good player, so if he leaves, I'm not sad. It's not the end of the world, but like he was a damn good three-point shooter for us. So I feel like Buddy's going to want to get paid. Another guy on our team who I thought played very well was Andrew Nembhard. I like the Jordan Norwa. Norwa? Did I say Jordan Norwa? I like the Jordan Norwa pickup. Aaron Naismith played out of his fucking mind this year. I think Aaron Naismith is a guy that I think when we traded for him for Malcolm Brogdon, a lot of people were like, who the fuck is Aaron Naismith? Now you know. He was a guy Celtics fans were pretty high on before we traded for him. But the team has a lot of question marks, man. Like, a guy in the draft I'm kind of hoping they take is Jarace Walker, if I said that correctly. Or, if they can play into the top 5 or maybe trade up in the draft. I'd really like them to get Brandon Miller, but I don't think that's going to happen. Even though Pacers fans aren't happy with him because of the gun thing that went on. But it would just be nice. You know, if they don't get Brandon Miller, Jarice Walker, I think would be like the ideal fit. He's a very good defensive player, a guy that I think could really be good on our team. So I can't say that like either one of those guys I would be happy with. But I just think this Pacers team has a long way to go. The idea that when Tyrese Halliburton doesn't play, this team loses a lot of fucking games should speak volumes to how much of an impact he makes on this team. And I do think Ben Matherin's going to start next year. I will say that. I think the starting lineup is going to be along the lines of like Tyrese Halliburton, Ben Mathurin, Aaron Nesmith, maybe Jalen Smith or Jarice Walker if we draft him, and Miles Turner. Couple guys on our team that I expect to maybe get moved, maybe not immediately. I did think TJ McConnell was going to get moved, and apparently that's not going to happen. Isaiah Jackson and Jalen Smith are two guys that I think are definitely on the chopping block, it seems, over in Indiana. For a while, it seemed like Isaiah Jackson was in Rick Carlisle's doghouse, and Jalen Smith, while they do encourage him to continue playing and taking threes and doing stuff like that, he just hasn't performed. So I don't know if he's a guy that's going to be on the trading block. I don't know. Maybe not. We'll have to see how he plays next year. But I think this team has a long way to go. And I think people who say things like, oh, our core is enough to make a championship run, I don't think it is. I think we're going in the right direction with Tyrese Halliburton and Ben Mathurin, but literally every other position on our team is kind of questionable. You know, I think TJ McConnell is a good backup point guard. You know, I like Aaron Nesmith. He's a guy that I like. I like Andrew Nembhard. So there's guys on our roster that I definitely like. But TJ McConnell is one of those guys that I'm just like, you know, he's a guy that Andrew Nembhard could replace, and TJ McConnell, his contract is significant enough where like I could see the Pacers trying to move on from him. So I don't know, gonna be an interesting offseason. I feel like players want to play with Tyrese Halliburton, but we will have to wait and see. So tell me what you guys think about this down below in the comment section below. Like helps me out, subscribe if you guys want to see more. I'm the Fast Break Report, and I'm out of this motherfucker. Peace, guys.